Hello, guys. Welcome back to a J Love video. Today, I'm here with my awesome friend Andrew. Known him for at least say 15, 20 years. Today, he's going to share his amazing story. So, Andrew, take it over.
Hey guys, yeah, so amazing story. It all started back in 1983.
Long time
Uh
ago.
yeah, that a long time ago, 41 years ago. Yeah, so the testimony I have is I was born with a severe learning disability. And so I had and what that means is I have a gap in my brainstem. And so my parents didn't know what was wrong. They're like, what's going on? How come he has having a hard time learning? I wouldn't process stuff. So stuff would come in my brain and then leave. And um, so anyway, so I was held behind in kindergarten. I still spelled my name in kindergarten, AW. So they're like, what's going on? AW, couldn't cut on lines, all that kind of stuff. And so they put me in a handicap class. And so, in elementary school, I was pretty ashamed of that. I even lied that I was in somebody else's class because I was embarrassed about being in that class. I was pretty ashamed of it, and so I struggled with that. And then in middle school as well, I was still in the handicap class. Um, in elementary school, I actually started doing karate, and that actually kind of helped. But it was really hard to learn stuff. And still process stuff, but I worked really, really hard. And so at age 12, I got my black belt, and that was a huge accomplishment. And so that helped with my hand-eye coordination with sports. And then I was pretty embarrassed though that I had a learning disability. And then in high school, I started to go a couple of regular classes, but in all honesty, I kind of cheated because I was embarrassed of um, failing and coming out that I wasn't smart. And so I did a lot of that. And so my in high school, my reading level was second grade to third grade reading level. And so I didn't have good reading level. I wasn't confident, insecure. I played sports in high school, but I wasn't confident in my reading and writing and all that ability and what was the future, what did that look like. And so my brother, that's 2 years younger than me, also had a severely learning disability. And then my sister struggled with a lot of health issues, eating disorder to Lyme's disease, allergic to everything. Then my youngest brother, at age 11, got diagnosed with schizophrenia, real bad. And he started seeing things, and um, my dad had cancer twice. And then my mom struggled with anxiety attacks. And so it looked good on the outside, of our family. We had white picket fence, we had the dog, we had, they're the good family, whatever. Like smile. I mean, we did stuff as a family. My parents, they love the Lord, they prayed and stuff, but it was a struggle. Like it was a lot of stuff emotionally, and it's kind of chaotic inside, and so out of that I rededicated my life to the Lord after high school. And so my best friend and I were all in for Jesus. I encountered the Lord at an outdoor parking lot, and I actually fell back 3 feet, and this is the first time I really deeply experienced the Lord like this. And I was out for several hours, just really encountered. And the Lord came to me. He said, "Hey, this is a decision. It could be all in for me, and you could see, you can encounter more like my love, my beauty, experience me, experience my power, or you could just do your own thing. I still love you." But after that moment, I was fully in. Like, and I experienced miracle after miracle after miracle of that. And so, out of the place of, struggling with my identity, I felt like I finally was, I knew who I was, as a son. a child of God. And the Lord really, he actually called me to go to college. And I was like, go to college? What? No, like, I don't like school. I have a bad experience with school. And that was a fear of mine. And I was like, Lord, but you don't understand. And you don't say that to the Lord. That's obviously he understands, right? And so out of that, going back, he's just like, you need to work harder than everybody else because you're far behind, obviously. Um, but before I went back to college, he's like, I want you to read the Bible. And so I read the whole Bible all the way through in 6 months. And happy to say that the Bible is the very first book I've ever read, other than a child's book. And so, even getting so much revelation and wisdom through that, um, the Lord restored a lot. And out of that, and then going back to college, out of that, me focusing and being all in for Jesus, my dad was healed of cancer. My youngest brother was healed of schizophrenia. My mom was healed of, severe anxiety. And my sister was healed of anorexic. And so the Lord was really working on the family in the midst of because of a yes, yes, I'm all in and prayer and fasting and seeking him. Anyway, I went back to college, graduated there. Then the Lord called me into, um, working, doing ministry. Just, he said, wherever I work is my ministry, but, um, evangelizing on the street, talking to people about Jesus, to where I worked, I would share the gospel there, talk to people about Jesus, and people are encountering the Lord wherever I went. And so, and then after that, like I met Katie, my wife, and her and I just became good friends first, and we got married and started having kids. We had 3 kids, and I got on staff. Well, before that, I actually worked with the disabled adults with Down syndrome and um, autism and stuff like that in the community. I showed them how to do life in the community, and I also showed them. We went to churches and cleaned the toys, and we talked, and so that was a huge. So I did that for 5 years, and I believe that was a huge ministry too, because everybody in my group received Jesus. And so I did that, and then I transitioned to be work at the rescue mission, and I didn't have any experience other than sharing the gospel to the guys that were homeless on the street and struggled with drugs and alcohol. But I was like, okay, Lord, this is what you want me to do. And so I just worked my way up, became a chaplain there, program manager, loved teaching the guys, loved counseling the guys, saw many guys get breakthrough and encounter the Lord, and which is awesome. And then and then through the church I did Iris Ministries with you, and you did micro churches, interns, had that was awesome. And then the Lord called me to go full time in the ministry, and I did full time in the ministry. And like I said, I didn't really know what that looked like working at a church, and had many different roles from you know family pastor, youth pastor, young adult pastor, executive pastor, and so forth. And then out of the place, just praying, growing in the Lord. I love the Lord, and evangelizing. Um, he was like, "I want you to move." so, so, so now we moved across the country, and we get here to Georgia, and I'm like, "Okay, I'm gonna go get full-time ministry." And out of that place of about to dive in a full-time ministry again, like, Lord, what is going on here? Like, I moved all the way across the country, was just in faith. This is what you want us to do, and I feel like I don't know what to do. And I kept seeing real estate, real estate, and he's like, Andrew, you love to serve people. You love to help people. And I'm like, yeah, that's what I love doing. And you celebrate them when they get the reward, when they get their task, you know. And out of that, you know, I'm like, this is what I'm called. This is what I'm called to do, is to be a real estate agent, you know. But out before that happened, right? After I said yes to that, before I became a real estate agent, I had to study, and it was probably the hardest thing I've ever had to do. And as you guys know, like I already kind of struggled with the, you know, studying and reading, and it was hard. Like there's a lot to do, and a lot of reading, a lot of studying, a lot of one-on-one tutoring. And so I studied, and out of that place of studying so much, I I was like, I'll take the test. I'll take the test for the school, and I didn't pass. And so I was like, oh. Then I tried again, and I didn't pass. And so I was like, oh my goodness. So when you take the school, you have to, you only get 2 tries, and then you have to restart the whole school over again. And I'm like, oh no, like, and so I decided to do a different school online, and it was a lot better. And I took the test, and I was like, oh Lord, please, please, you know, this is months and months later, you know, out of this and out of that place of feeling like I was a failure, like, you know, studying extra hard, getting frustrated with myself. Um, the Lord's like, keep going. You just got to work hard. And so I did, and I took the test, and I passed that test. But then there's another test, and it's a state exam test, and everybody has the hardest time with it, you know. I took this other class before you take the test. People were in there that have taken it 3 times, 4 times, and like crying. And you know, I prayed for somebody, and they actually passed the test the next day, which is awesome. But anyway, so I studied. I was just like, I don't feel confident enough. I just don't feel confident enough. And then my wife actually looked at me and said, you need to go take the test. You're ready. You know, you got this. And so I was like, okay. So, you know, I wrestled all night. I went up, went in, and what really gave me peace was the section I did the test in was number 15. And to go backwards in 15, when I rededicated my life to the Lord, the light number on the parking lot was number 15. I wore number 15 on my jersey as an athlete. It's my favorite number, 15. Katie and I got married on July 15th. All my kids were number 15. And the Lord really just gave me peace. It just came over me, you know, because I had number 15. So I took the test, and I actually had time to spare after. Like I had so much peace, and I passed it the first time. And I just like, you know, in the truck, just bawled. Like basically, I was just like, oh gosh, I passed the test, and out of that, you know, all that hard work, and it was hard. Like it was like I was knocking down another giant in my life. You know, I've knocked down several giants, and then going back to school was one. Another thing was reading in front of people. And so the Lord brought me and put me on stage to speak in front of people and read in front of people. I never wanted to do that, but the Lord broke off that fear and insecurity and gave me confidence and to do that, especially working at a church, right? It was before that though, but um, just all those things that I never thought I'd be able to do, the Lord flipping it, and revealing his glory through it. And so that's kind of the journey of, you know, um, my testimony, which is still happening at this moment, but it's building and building. But the Lord has been so good through the whole journey, and his grace and his comfort and his counsel and his wisdom and his love, and just coming over me, and the process of it, shaping me in character, shaping me as the man that I am today, and continue to make me more like Jesus, right? So that's kind of the the testimony of
Mm-hmm.
here we are right now.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of a short, quick version, I think, but
It's all good. Good. So I'm gonna throw a couple questions. One is when you had the learning disability, and then you had to like read like the Bible, and you said you read the Bible first, right? Then when you read the Bible, did you like understand it like right away? Because it's crazy because I have had learning disability, and I felt like I learned Bible better than I learned the actual book of the school books. You know what I mean? So can you just like kind of share like what was the like what was like hard and what was easy, but like because there might be a lot of people that have like learning disabilities that might want to get encouraged by like reading because I think that's what a lot of people struggle with. So how like yeah, how did you do all that?
yeah. So the beginning stage, was when I was all in. I actually used it as an excuse at first. Say like, "Hey, I'm not like I've tried before," and
Yeah.
but I actually did it in a more of a way of um, this is a relationship. This is like he's giving me opportunity, and guess what? The words become alive. They're alive,
Yeah.
and so out of that approach of when I meet with him, I'm meeting with him and I'm encountering him and I'm getting to know him. And I think like when you have that kind of mind frame, like that old mindset, it kind of fades away because the old mindset is like excuses, right? Excuses of not understanding, excuses of, and even some of the things too, like I would use an example. If I didn't understand it at that moment, I'd write it down and I'd be like, Father, I know that you're going to reveal this to me. I know that you're going to give me a revelation of this because
Mhm.
scholars, to encourage you, some scholars do the same thing.
Yeah.
Like, what is this all about? I wonder what this is. But the wonder and the asking and the praying and the openness, it will be revealed over time, right? So out of me reading the whole Bible, of course there will be some stuff I don't understand to this day still. Right? But I write it down and I give it to the Lord. And the Lord has revealed a lot of those things that I wrote down over time, right? But I think if we could remove the excuses and we could just say, Lord, I know that you're good and you're going to teach me. You're going to teach me something today. You're going to give me revelation, wisdom today. And having that openness, he will do it. You know what I mean? So,
That's so awesome. And the other thing I wanted to say too is real estate. So a lot of people that want to get into real estate, how did you know? Like, what did you do to prepare yourself? Because I know a lot of people that struggle, even like with the tests or struggling with all that. How did you? Because I know you were saying like numbers and stuff, but how did you know like that it was really this was really your heart? Because I feel like people will question that. Oh, how does God really tell you that this is what He really wants? So can you kind of explain a little bit so people will know? Because I know a lot of people in real estate that want to do real estate are kind of like struggling. But like, how
yeah.
did you know that it was 100% a father saying, "This is what I want"?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, so every time I'd go look for jobs and stuff, the first thing that would come up would be real estate.
Mm,
Um, the very first thing, every single time. Um, and also like I even struggled with the when I was studying and testing. This is crazy. I would go and pop up the first thing on Facebook would be somebody I know. Hey, yeah, they just purchased the house, but huge smiles on their house faces,
mm,
and I'm like, okay, Lord, like you really and just the joy of people establishing, and this is a ministry. This is my ministry, right? And I just remember too, this is before I got my license, but a guy came up to me and he said, "Hey," he's a real estate agent. "Being a real estate agent, just to let you know, can be really lonely." And he just walked off. And I was like, "Okay, what's up with that?"
Mhm.
Anyway, so I had, I believe even real in real estate, like when I first started, I was like, you know what, that loneliness, let's do Bible study. Let's do prayer group. So I started that, at the other office I was at, before I switched, and people came to it and said, "This is amazing." Like,
Mhm.
so wherever I go is the ministry, right? Wherever I go is my ministry. And so the people that I come in contact with in the community, building relationships. I'm going to be out in the community a lot. Like my goal is to meet 6 people a day. And so far, like the most people I've talked to, a lot of them, we end up talking about the Lord. So,
That's awesome.
and that's really, really cool. So it's like, um, but to help with the studying process, if you want to get in real estate, I want to encourage, it is hard. Okay. But everybody has a hard time. Every once in a while you get a person go, "Oh, it's a piece of cake." But okay.
Mhm.
But it's hard. And so what I would encourage, what I made a mistake in, don't do it alone. Okay. Do it in community. All right. There's classes that you can take that they have where you'll have a partner to study with and other people. I would encourage, if you're going to go down that route, to do it in community, um, and have accountability. I would also encourage, there's several tutors, there's several different that'll help, because it can be frustrating if you're not getting something or memorizing something, and the tutors are really good at it. So get a tutor. Um, and there's programs to do online, but there's some that are good and some that aren't so much. Like there's just a lot of reading, and that's what I started off with, the reading, and there's over 1,000 pages, and you don't want my encouragement, don't do that. Okay. And that's what I made a mistake in. All right. And so do it in community is my suggestion. Have tutoring, have accountability, somebody you're doing it with, and it'll be a lot better, you know,
Yeah.
uh, having that. But give yourself grace in it too, as well, because some people get discouraged or,
Mhm.
you know, um, out of that. And if you become a real estate agent, there's cost that people don't know about
Mhm.
up front. So make sure you know going in, you have some savings that you're gonna have to pay for stuff when you
Yeah.
start. So,
Yeah.
um,
Um, oh man, so powerful. Before closing it out, is there any like, if you don't mind sharing like a closing statement? I always have people just whatever's left on your heart that you want to encourage people that are watching it. Is there anything on your heart that you just want to like really encourage people? Because I know your heart. I know you heart personally, so I know you have a like the heart of a Jesus. You have that so much love in your heart, and yeah. For the final closing, do you? What is something that you encourage people right now watching the video?
yeah, there's a couple of things actually. Yeah, I would encourage you, is really obviously surrender to
Mhm.
Jesus. That would be the number one. And then out of that, finding your identity in Him, but doing life with others. Like life could be hard, and doing life with others in community. Um, Revealing Jesus to your living testimony. When you walk around, you have Jesus inside that's going to come out, so,
Mhm.
which is good. But what the Lord has been showing me is that sometimes there's 2 fields. Okay. Sometimes we look at the one field and it has a beautiful harvest and it's beautiful, right? And you want that, right? But really, sometimes we start off with a field right in front of us that there's nothing but weeds and roots and the soil's solid. And he's saying this is that sometimes it takes is the process of getting out all those roots, which is fear, insecurity, right? Um, Getting all the weeds, which is
Mm.
other people's what they're saying, and starting to believe it. Get rid of all those things, those negative thoughts, those negative things, and start plowing, digging. It's sweat, blood, sweat, and tears, digging through and putting out those seeds. And those seeds represent a lot of things, right? The seed can represent you sharing the gospel. The seed could be you just loving your neighbor. The seed could be you, pursuing and working hard, right? Just keep doing it. And then over time, when you're praying, guess what? The prayer represents the water.
Mm.
The water, you're watering it in, you're watering it. And then as you're praying, you're believing out all of
Mm.
that. The Lord's going to it's going to grow. It's going to grow things. And so that's an encouragement to you and out of all of that, enjoying the process, because the process can be so hard compared to the finish, right? But the Lord enjoys the process just as much. And so try to enjoy the process, and you're going to see what you reap is what you're going to sow, right? You're going to see growth take place. But it all comes down to a decision, and that decision can be, it really is up to you, and to say, okay, and even if you get sidetracked, get back to the field.
Yeah.
It's not too late if some of those weeds came back, and and also the thing is that you could be plowing away, and later on you notice a new root. You're like, oh, how'd this get there? Like, don't avoid it, take it out. Just keep going. And that's life, right? But that's what I want to bless everybody in is that it's going to have a harvest in your life. Um, just keep going at it, believe, pray, throw out the seed.
Amen. Thank
Yeah,
you
man.
so much.
Yeah,
Thank you
yes,
again
sir.
so much for all the. I'm gonna stop